The garden is a mess. But I do have a sweet pepper here. That's nice. Now, what's cool about this sweet pepper is, um, a few months ago I came out here and I saw a big patch of sweet peppers growing like right there. So it came from sweet pepper seeds that were thrown in here. And so I took the sweet pepper seeds that came out of this garden and I planted sweet peppers all throughout. Like I planted there. So this sweet pepper is coming from a seed that randomly grew in this garden. So that's nice. It's gonna taste really good. But because I've been so busy with bounce houses, the garden is a mess. Another reason, because usually the bounce house is not enough reason for me to have a problem. This is the real problem with this garden. These worms, I don't know what kind of worm that is. I could research it, but I haven't felt like researching it. These worms keep eating away at everything in the garden. So I've been spraying them with pesticide, right? It works, but then they come back again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take everything out, and start from scratch. I'm gonna start over. Now, the only thing, I never had a problem with these type of worms or any type of insects in my garden before. And the only thing that is different about this garden than every garden I've done before is gardens that I've done before have been in yards where I cut the grass. And every time I cut the grass, I would put the grass as the floor of the garden. So I always had a big buildup of grass mulch in the gardens that I've done before. And I think that's the reason why I never had to contend with these worms. Because that's the only thing that's different about this garden than any garden I've done before, is I've always had like a lot of grass mulch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take everything out and buy, well, I don't have grass mulch, but I'm gonna buy mulch from Home Depot. And I'm supposed to put mulch back here anyway, because when we moved in here, this place had mulch. But I used the mulch for the garden, and it mulch doesn't last, it goes away. So because I haven't been replenishing the mulch, because I don't have any grass to replenish it with, the mulch goes away, and so the floor of the garden is mostly like dirt. So our lease is up in a couple of like 3 months, 4 months. Now I don't know if we're gonna move, because the only way we'll move is if we get much cheaper rent. But it doesn't look like we're gonna get much cheaper rent. So if we end up staying here for another year, then I'm gonna need to have this garden. Well, for one, if we're gonna move, I need to replace the mulch that was here before. So no matter what, I'm gonna have to buy mulch regardless. But I don't have to. But we're supposed to leave the place the same way we got it. So if I don't leave it, if I don't put the mulch back, they'll most likely try to take it out of our security deposit, right? So put the mulch back in case we're gonna move. But even if we don't move, I still need the mulch to see if that's gonna solve the problem with these worms, whatever type of worm that is. I could research it, but So that's the problem with the garden, is attack of those, whatever those worms are. Now, sure, if I wasn't so busy with the bounce houses, which I don't mind, I like the fact that I'm busy with the bounce houses, maybe I would have been able to deal with these worms and solve the problem. The garden works with a lot of attention, right? And so if I'm cutting the grass every week, because when I have grass to cut, I cut the grass just about every week. So if I'm cutting the grass every week, then I'm giving the garden attention every week by putting the grass there, taking care of everything. So worms don't have a chance to go crazy and get wild in my garden, And I also think the mulch prevents it from happening. So that's my mission now, is to rip everything out, start from scratch, and use mulch and deal with the worms, deal with whatever type of worms those are, and see where I end up. So yeah, nice to have a mission. It feels, what I enjoy is like when I pull everything out, and then it's like it's a task. It's a task, and when I'm done with the task, let's say it takes me a day or two, then I'm gonna like what I see, the final result, right? So yeah. So I noticed my machete got rusty, so I just sprayed some WD-40 on here. So I'm gonna clean this up and sharpen it. I've only used this like a couple of times. That's messed up how it got like this, and I had it in like a case too, But it's okay, WD-40 solves this problem. All right, and then we sharpen them up. So like when my sister came over here and I told her about the problem with the worms, she's like, you should research those and see what that is on Google. So yeah, but I saw myself like, man, I don't operate like that. I'm not gonna take a picture of this worm, go to Google search for images, you do an image search, then it's gonna tell me what kind of worm it is, how to deal with it, what kind of and it's like, nah, man, I'm gonna deal with this from a spiritual point of view, whereas I figure out what did I do that's different from this garden, from my other gardens, and then change that thing. And the thing is that perceptionally, based on perception alone, it could work, right? just use the shovel, shovel this up, turn all the soil over, then get some mulch, lay the mulch out, and then plant something new.